What was the first story? We called it The Beginning. The second story was called First Humans. This story was called Separation. And then last week, do you remember? Cain kills his brother. Oh, that is so bad. Oh, that's so bad. Okay, so let's start really simple. Really simple. If I was to say, how would you tell somebody what the first 4 stories of the Bible are? You could just say, there was a beginning, then there was first humans, they got separated, and then a brother killed his brother. You would say the first 4. You don't have to say anything else. You could just say, in the beginning, there were first humans, sin separated us, and look what happens. Brothers are starting to kill each other. Okay? Is that easy? All right, so I want you to turn to the person next to you. Turn to the person next to you, and I want you to tell them, hey, husband, tell them the first 4 stories just real quick using these words. Ready? Turn to your neighbor. Turn to your neighbor. In the beginning, there were first humans. Sin separated. Cain kills Abel. Yes, Lila. I can't. Do you need help again? Okay, here we go. This is so important that you know this, okay? That you remember this, because the whole goal is what? That you can tell somebody the whole story of the Bible. It's not hard. It's really easy, and we're going to make it really easy for you, okay? Here we go. Let's do it again. In the beginning, God created the first humans. They got separated by sin, and guess what happens? Cain kills his brother Abel. So the effects of sin, the consequences of sin is people start killing each other. Okay? So in the beginning, there were first humans. This is super simple. Now, is there more stuff in here? Oh yeah, there's more story. There's more stuff you could say. Like I could say, remember there was a God, right? Who else was in this story? Remember? Angels. And who else was in there? Lucifer. Okay? And then what did God do here? Well, he created the world. He created humans, put them in a garden, and there were 2 trees. Remember that? Okay? And then in the separating one, who tricked Eve? The serpent, right? And so then Adam and Eve, they had to go, I'll just write go away. Bye-bye. They had to go bye-bye. Yeah. Yeah, and so we'll just write sin. And then Cain kills Abel. There's Abel. And then there's Cain. There's not an Abel. And Cain has to go bye-bye. That's a story, right? Okay. So you could say simply, ready? In the beginning, God created the first humans. The humans decided to go their own way and sin, and guess what happens? Brother starts to kill brother. Okay? But you could also say, in the beginning there was a God. And God was doing some amazing things, and the angels, remember what they did? They sang, good job, and they shouted for joy, right? So they sang, see, you guys know this, sang, shouted for joy. And then what was Lucifer? Jealous. He was the prettiest or the most beautiful. But he wanted all the praise for himself and not God. And he convinced 1/3 of the angels, which are now called demons, to follow him. That all happened where? In the beginning. Right? So you could say in the beginning there was a God, and there was angels who sang and shouted for joy. But then there was one who wanted to go his own way. And God named him Satan, and he left. Then God created day and night, and he created the sky and the land. And what else? It has waves in it. Water, oceans. And then God put things in the day and night. What governs the day and the night? What's up in the sky to tell you that it's daytime? The sun. What's up there in the sky? What's up there in the sky at nighttime? The moon and the stars. What creatures are in the sky? Birds. What creatures are on the land? Animals. What creatures are in the water? Fish. So that's what God created, was all those different things. What else did he create? Humans. And what were their names? Oh, you guys know this story. Where did he put them? In the garden. Who made the garden for him? God did, right. And then what were the two trees? Do you remember? Good and evil, and a tree of life. What was the rule? What was the one rule God had? Violet? Shh, 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 shh. Violet's answering. Yeah, he said, if you touch or eat the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, just exactly what Violet said, what will happen to you? You'll die. You'll die. And so Adam and Eve, so the serpent comes up to Eve, right, and says, did God really say? So Satan knows what he's doing, right? Lucifer knows what he's doing. He's tricking people. He tries to get people to follow him instead of God. So guess who's at work here? The serpent, Lucifer, Satan. And does he convince Eve? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Eve eats of the fruit, and what else happens? Eve gave it to who? Adam. And it says, remember, if you remember the story, the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. Yeah, because before they were naked, and it wasn't a big deal. Because there was no sin. There was nothing bad about it. It was all good. And so God had to kick them out of the garden, so they had to go away, and sin was now a big deal. And then last week, Sam told you guys a story of Cain, which is Adam and Eve's son, and Abel is Adam and Eve's son. And Abel brought his sacrifice of sheep. Cain brought his sacrifice of crops, and God accepted Abel's but not Cain's sacrifice. And so instead of Cain going, oh, I did the wrong thing, oh, I need to switch, Cain goes, I'm mad. And God looks at Cain and says, why are you mad? Just do what's right. Do what's right. Thanks, Lucas. Do what's right. And Cain, instead of doing what was right, he says, Abel, let's go for a walk. Goes on a walk with Abel, kills him, puts him in the ground. And then Cain goes about his merry way. And God comes to Cain and says, Cain, where's your brother? And Cain goes, I don't know where my brother is. What am I, in charge of my brother? And God says, your brother's blood is calling to me from the ground, which is kind of weird, right? And Cain's like, and so God punished Cain by sending him out of that place. He had to go bye-bye too. And Cain's like, oh, it's too hard for me. And God says, I will protect you, even though Cain did something horrible. Okay, so here we go. Simple again. I want you to practice. Ready? In the beginning, God created the first humans, Adam and Eve, and the serpent tricked them, and they were separated by sin. And what happens now is brothers starting to kill brothers. Okay, turn to somebody, and I want you to tell them that. Again, I want you to tell them the story so far. Okay?